So yesterday I told Farmer Matt it was time to start thinking about Christmas. We need to start talking about Christmas presents and what we are going to get the children. I know in a lot of families, mom takes care of the gifts and all these things. And if this was a normal family, I would probably do that too. But we have a blended family. Doesn't work out here. It's very much a group project, which is probably the way it should be anyway, right? So I tell him it's time to start talking about this. So I think he asked me what I was thinking, if I had any ideas. So I'm sure the intention was, do you have any ideas of what to get the children? And what he got back was one of my daily video lectures on my beliefs. So this was pretty much what I said back to him. I was like, well, I don't know, but I'm really tired of how Christmas has turned into this like materialistic thing where we pile on as many presents on these children as possible, and they don't even remember what they get from everybody because they get so many gifts they can't even remember all of them. Like, that's not what it's about. And what are we teaching them by just giving them stuff that they don't need in most cases? So that was my first answer. And then my second answer was the other thing I don't want to support is how you think about this time of year and the number of people who buy gift cards and things from large corporations. Okay, these are companies that in most cases are not supporting things that you and I support. They are supporting a lot of things, in my opinion and that of many other people, things that are tearing our nation apart and dividing our people, which is anti-America. Okay, so I don't want to support, I don't want to go buy stuff from these big companies. Last year we gave some gift cards. I'm like, I don't really want to support that because that supports these huge companies that are not pro-America in a lot of cases. So that was my answer to Farmer Matt. Too much stuff. I'm tired of it. That's not what Christmas is about. And I don't want to support all these big companies. And so I'm waiting for his response. I get down and I'm like, I'm old and crotchety, aren't I? So I'm waiting for his response. Is he going to be like, man, you're a grump? Or like, what's he going to say back to me? And it takes him a little while. Farmer Matt is not one for a lot of words if you don't know him. And he's like, nope, I agree with that. And then he added something to it, but I can't really remember what it was. It's unfortunate. I can't remember right now. So Christmas is coming. It's a big time of year. It's a time where we're extra involved with our families in most cases. We get to see people we don't see sometimes. Other parts of the year, we spend extra time with our close families, and we spend, in a lot of cases, a lot of money on things. So let's chat about planning a Christmas that aligns with our values. Let's talk about time and the reason for the season first. This last few years, I've really been working at we're not worrying about the details. We're not worrying about all the things because this should be a time that we get to spend with family. This should be a time that I'm not worrying about the 83rd thing I need to get at the grocery and dang it, I forgot the 84th one. I'm going to run back to the grocery. No, we need to be spending time with family, enjoying the season. So I've really been working on not worrying about the details and remembering the reason for the season, which, let's talk about that. So a large part of our country, people in our country, are Christians, declare themselves as Christians. I don't know what that percentage is, but it has come to my attention that I used to be one I went to church and I read my Bible some, not enough, but I've realized how bad of a Christian I was, even though I was going to church and some other things. And if we're believers, we need to remember the reason for the season. And if you're not a believer and you're like, this world just isn't filling you up, I encourage you to seek the real meaning of the season, the birth of Jesus. And that is what we're celebrating. We are not making it a competition of who can spend the most money or who can have the most toppings for their hot chocolate bar, or I'm talking to myself on this one, who can make the most kinds of cookies. It's not because it's a competition. It's just something we used to do. We haven't done it the last couple years because I've been on this special diet that doesn't allow a whole lot of cookies. But anyway, what's the meaning for this season? I hear so many people talk about worrying about their children and their grandchildren and the world they're going to live in. You know what we can do? Best thing we can do for our children is to help them come to know Jesus. And this is as good of a time as any if this is not something we are actively doing, if we're not talking about God and Jesus and faith and reading our Bibles and sharing Bible stories with our kids and helping them learn how to look at this world and how to respond and how to participate. Like, this is as good a time as any to be doing those things, especially for those of us who have faith and are not really actively living that in our lives. Okay, so there's that. Now let's talk about the shopping part and how we spend our money. So we have really tried the last few years. We still have work to do, but with spending our money with companies that more align with our values than the big grocery stores and the companies that are really easy to order from online from your phone. And, a lot of these companies are not really supporting patriotic causes. And so we've been working on shopping with companies that do. So as we're thinking about Christmas, as you're thinking about your gift giving, where you're going to buy your presents and what you're giving, I would encourage you to think, we're really going to work on this. And this is hard. That's a process when materialism and consumerism has taken over this religious holiday. And we give gift cards. So people, if the point is to give a thoughtful gift and then we're giving gift cards, like, what does that, okay, they get what they want, but I feel like for kids especially, like, that's not really teaching the idea of what Christmas should be and giving thoughtful things because we care about you. So anyway, it's a process, things we're going to be thinking about and things that maybe you can think about as well. One, if you're looking at where to get your Christmas presents, almost always, if you can shop small, that's going to support probably more values, more things that you believe that you support than shopping big at big companies. Shop small, shop in your towns. I love when I drive through a town, an old historic town, and they fixed it all up and there's all these adorable shops. Like, it makes me happy to drive through those towns. Go find some of those towns and go shopping. You're going to keep your money in your local area, which is better than sending it who knows where when you shop at these big companies, right? And chances are pretty good you're not going to be supporting crazy causes when you support at these little shops. Okay, so consider that. Then, when we're looking at other places to shop, it is difficult to research companies and the things they support. I want to talk about this more some other time, but today I'll give you just a few ideas of where to start looking for companies that may align with your values, if your values align with my values. Where can you start? So if you're looking for a replacement for that app on your phone where you can order anything you ever wanted in 3 seconds and it's going to be on your doorstep in 2 days. Somebody introduced me to a company. I haven't shopped with them yet, but I have had it on my phone here for a little while now. It's called Public Square, and I want to read to you. I don't know where I left my phone. I'm not going to read it to you. The things they support family, they support life, they support parents' rights, they support freedom, they support free speech. They vet all the companies that are listing products on this marketplace to make sure their values align with these values. Okay, so that's called Public Square. And we have to realize, I think you all know, but I'm going to point it out because we just need to get over it. If we're going to support things that support America, we have to understand it is probably going to cost more. Okay? If these companies are making products in the USA, if they have higher values than companies that make products with child labor or forced labor camps, for example, it's going to cost more. We need to get over it. We need to be prepared. We need to be willing to pay a little bit more for something that aligns with our values. Okay, so Public Square is like a marketplace where you can find all kinds of stuff. Just a couple of others that have lists of companies that in general support my values and many of yours. USA Freedom List and Mammoth Nation are two other ones. I know there are others. If you listen to news and updates that are not mainstream, pay attention to the companies that advertise there. Lots of them they're going to be different than your normal mainstream stuff, and those are going to be companies that are very likely going to align with your values. So what I got for today, we need to be intentional about the way we're living our lives. Christmas is a big thing. Let's be intentional about how we prepare for it.